what's going on, guys? MA76 people, I'm back at it again with another video for you. And finally, I've got the final performance review, a full performance review on the Nike Hyperdunk 2017 featuring React cushioning. Now, before I begin, I just want to let you guys know a few things. I've had a string of bad luck. I had heat stroke, then I got an infected chest cold with tonsillitis, and now I'm having an allergic reaction. You can see it's very obvious on my face, puffed up, my eyes are swollen. So I'm going to try and stay off of camera as much as I can, and just, you know, lots of cutaways, etc, etc. So please forgive me. I may not be all that excited in my voice, but this is a full, thorough 16-hour review with a whole bunch of information for you. So I hope you stick around and enjoy it. Okay, guys? Thank you very much. So as usual, guys, I'll just give you the quick breakdown of where I use the shoe and for how long. Just a normal thing that I always do in my reviews. So I had 8 hours on a clean court, then I had 6 hours on a dusty court, and then only 2 hours on outside, on outdoors, which is unfortunate. I definitely wanted to use it more outdoors, but that's just the way it went here. In Japan, it's like typhoon season right now, so a lot of the mornings that I woke up, I was like, alright, 5 a.m. session, and it's just like pouring rain, so yeah, that's just how it went. Okay, so that's the breakdown for you know, what surfaces I was on. So let's just jump right into traction. Okay, let's talk about that. Alright, so traction was easily probably the #1 feature that stood out for me with the Hyperdunk 2017. The traction was insane. So, you know, dusty courts and clean courts. Personally myself, I never had to wipe. I didn't have to think about traction. I didn't have to worry about traction. I didn't have to, you know, give a second thought about quick movements when I was on the dusty court. It was good to go. It was phenomenal. Of course, like on the dusty court, you know, of course it wasn't biting and gripping as it was on the pristine courts or the clean court, but still, the way that it performed on the dusty court, it was easily probably the best shoe that I've ever had for dusty conditions. And outdoors, you know, like I said, it was only 2 hours. Yeah, there was a couple times where I kind of like tested it per se, but I was mostly just doing shooting drills and dribbling drills and stop and goes. And again, outdoors, yeah, it wasn't biting obviously like it would on an indoor court, but still, it was fine. It was fine. It wasn't great, but it was fine. But yeah, the traction is beast overall. The shoe is obviously aimed for indoors. It's not aimed for outdoors. But that's crazy. It was crazy traction, and for me, like, you know, I put a lot of hours in the past in my Kobe 9s up here, because that's kind of like the pinnacle of traction. And I'm just saying, hey, I'm just downing you for what I was, you know, the feedback coming through my legs. The traction on the Hyperdunk was better than the Kobe 9s. And hey, that's just my experience. That's my opinion. So that's traction in a nutshell. Let's move on to the next one. Alright, so the next thing I want to talk about, guys, is support and stability. So I'm just going to start from the bottom of the shoe and work our way up. So easily a standout feature is the base of the shoe. Like, let me take it back a little bit. You know, rounded edges, I was kind of skeptical about it. I'm used to a flat base, you know, like the rare metals. And so when I started playing in this one, you know, the first, whatever, half an hour or 40 minutes, I quickly realized, oh, okay, so it's not so much that, you know, the edges are rounded, it's just how much does it flare out and how much does it cup the foot and give you that stable platform. So that's probably the first thing I would like to mention in terms of support and stability, is how we benefit from a wide base, you know, the tooling or the outsole of the shoe. So that's a great feature there. I think Nike did a great job of that. The next thing is the heel cup. You know, they got a big heel cup here on the heel. It's self-explanatory. It's kind of in your face with the big branding right there. But what stood out more for me was the fit inside of the shoe in the heel cup area. It's well kind of sculpted out, and it really cups the heel just very efficiently. It does just a great job of holding down the back of your foot. And obviously, it being a mid-cut, once you tie up the shoe properly, I mean, the lockdown is just, it's complete. It's complete in this back area. That's great. So 2 more things that I wanted to mention, guys, about support and stability. One being the outriggers. They got these 3 rounded outriggers here. There's actually a 4th one in the midfoot here, and it wasn't anything that was particularly like, whoa, wow, you know. It did its job. I felt completely stable, completely confident in the shoe. So yeah, it wasn't anything that had a specific feel to it, but overall, just an overall performance, it clearly did its job. Okay. Hope did you hear my son just screaming there? The other thing that I wanted to mention was, if you just sit the shoe down flat on the ground and you look at it from behind, the shoe is slightly, ever so slightly pronated inwards. This is a fantastic feature because it helps with stability, because a lot of our movements, kind of like tennis as well, a lot of our movements, we would plant with our right foot pushing off left going this way. So when you have a shoe that's slightly tilted towards that, it just gives you a very, very good solid feeling and confident in that type of motion. Also, I guess it helps ever so slightly maybe with ankle rolls or something. But anyways, just that slight pronation, that's another great feature there that I think was beneficial, and it definitely benefit a lot of players. So overall, just in support and stability, it's a fantastic shoe. It's well made, I think it's well designed, I think a lot of people will enjoy playing in it. So I'll wrap that part up, and let's jump over to materials, fit, and lockdown. Alright, so just talking about the materials, you've got the React cushioning inside, but it is encased or surrounded by Phylon, so that's what's happening there in the tooling, or in the midsole. In the upper, it says, I looked on Nike's website, it says a textile material, but it's somewhat crispy, somewhat rough to the touch. And it actually reminds me of the old Flyknit, like on the Kobe 9s and stuff like that. It feels almost identical. Yeah, for sure. Like, yeah, I don't know. It feels the same to me. A great thing is, I would say probably after the first 1 or 2 sessions, the materials completely broke in. They softened up and are quite malleable now. It's no problem there. But also, I would especially say after about 6 hours, it was kind of more like somewhat like a second skin, almost, not quite. But yeah, no qualms with the materials in the upper. It's simple, it's straightforward, it does its job, and that's all you can really ask for. And they've got the reinforcement along the eyelets, which a lot of companies will do now, so it's kind of like a fuse layer, just to help with the strength in that area, because we're always tightening up our shoes, etc, etc. So yeah, that's the textile type of upper. It definitely does its job. So the lacing system is just your traditional lacing system, which I love. I really can't stand the one-piece construction. So you have your tongue, and then you've got your separate, 2 sides there. So when you lace it up properly, it completely locks your foot down. I'm so happy about that because I've got a skinny foot, and this thing, man, I tell you, the lockdown on this shoe is amazing. And I went true to size. I got my size 8. So if you've got an average foot, you should be able to get away with true to size. But if you've got the wide foot, you might want to go up half size. But always, the little asterisk thing, please get in the shop and try them on yourself. Alright, so also in terms of dead space, there was absolutely zero dead space. It was close to the foot. The toe area, this always tends to be a little bit tricky for me. The toe area was next to perfect. There was no dead space above my toe. However, a great thing is sometimes that I run into is when your weight is on your forefoot, your toes will naturally expand. And when that happened, it was still just enough room inside there where I didn't feel restricted or wasn't being bothered, or like the pinky toe wasn't rubbing up against the side. So yeah, in terms of fit, it was like next to perfect. Alright, so a little bit about durability. The 16 hours that I put into this shoe was probably some of the hardest 16 hours I've ever put into a performance review. And these things didn't bother the performance, and nor will it bother the performance in the future, because I will continue to play in this shoe. But man, this shoe, it gets scuffed really easily on the heel counters. and also on the swoosh, the paint job on the swoosh is cheap, real cheap. So yeah, you know, that's not going to bother, you know, it's not going to make a difference the next time I lace them up. But if someone who's out there who, you know, prefers to keep their shoes, you know, looking perfect, that's definitely going to be an issue. Because, man, I could just imagine someone who, like, plays professionally or plays in a league or something like that, or any kind of team, because I just play with my friends, I just play pickup and stuff like that, their shoe's going to get real scuffed up in those two areas. But, you know, whatever. That's up to you if you're going to be picky about that. It's not going to bother the performance whatsoever. I think when it comes to the materials, like the materials in the upper and the outsole, in those two aspects, in terms of durability, I think it'll last a long time, because I put 16 hours into this. The textile upper still looks brand new, and the outsole still looks brand new, you know. So that might have been a little bit different if I was able to get more hours on an outdoor court in terms of the outsole. But anyways, yeah, so those 14 hours indoors, not one single difference. So that's great, that's great. Just a quick little word about transition. You know, transition when you strike on a heel, go through your gate and toe off, or if you're, you know, backpedaling on defense and being the opposite way. The transition, I think, was something that could have been improved. It wasn't anything that bothered me. It wasn't like clunky. It wasn't like that. But I think I'm just wondering, because to me, React cushioning seems a little bit on the stiff-ish side. So I'm wondering if that affects the transition. There is a torsion plate in there. It's nothing extravagant. It's your average torsion plate, so I don't think that would inhibit the transition at all. And the only reason I'm saying this is because I'm just comparing it to my favorite shoe, which is like the Rare Metal from Brown Black. Like, that is the best transition I've ever used in any, including jogging shoes. Transition in that shoe is amazing. So maybe that could be something that could be improved. However, it is not something that is detrimental to performance or anything. That's just a minor detail that I wanted to let you guys know about. Alright, so finally, everyone wants to know about React cushioning. So here is my take on React cushioning. So it was 16 hours, at least, you know, all that I could say about how I play. It was a hard 16 hours. And particularly hours 10 to 16, I was really focused on what was going on underneath my foot. Because I already knew about traction, I already knew about the fit, I already knew about the support. I was completely confident in the shoe. So in the last 6 hours, I really focused on the cushioning. How did my feet, my knees, my lower back feel while I was playing, and how did they feel, you know, the morning after? I can tell you right now, you know, like, a cushioning system's gotta be broken in by the time you've done 16 hours. You know what I mean? Like, if it's not broken in by then, like, come on, what's going on? So, at the end of 16 hours, I can't feel anything underneath the ball of my foot. It's comfortable. Core feel is amazing. But I don't feel any cushioning system underneath there. You know what I mean? I said in my first on court, it felt like cardboard, man. It felt like cardboard. So, yeah, that's all I could say about the forefoot area. Now, in the heel, upon heel strikes, hard heel strikes, so when you're approaching and you're gonna try and get up real high, you know, your second to last step is a hard heel strike. Rebounds, also when you plant that leg for jump shots. If you've seen a lot of my footage on Instagram, that's most of my games, a lot of jump shots. So I could feel it was comfortable. It was comfortable, but here's the big question mark. I'm wondering, was it the Phylon that I was feeling? You know, because it's encased in Phylon. Like, I could squeeze here right now, and I could feel it. It's got some give to it. So I'm wondering, like, was it the Phylon that I was feeling? I really can't say that. You know, it's kind of like that spongy, squishy type of cushioning system. Now, as I mentioned in my last video, I believe that's not what Nike was going after in the first place. It is called React. So they're going after a response, you know, quick response, no lag in the shoe. That's the type of thing that they were going after. If that is so, then they've definitely succeeded, because I believe after 16 hours of use. This shoe is quick. It's very, very, very quick. So yeah, if that's their aim, then they nailed it, you know. I think a lot of people are like, oh, you know, React, ooh, the Boost, it's gonna be the Boost competitor. And I don't think that's what they're going after at all. So if you're expecting something like Boost or something like a squishy type of feeling, it's not gonna happen in this shoe. And that's why, you know, this shoe remains number 2 for me. It's knocked off the Curry 2.5. Now this is number 2 for me. It's Rare Metal is still number 1. Nothing is, I don't think anything is going to come out that's going to compare to that. I hope so. I would like to see something, you know, give a run for its money, but yeah, it's still going to remain at number 2 for me for this Hyperdunk. Amazing shoe. Would I recommend it? Yes, I definitely recommend it if you're a player that does not need, you know, a ton of cushion. So, alright guys, that's it for my review. I definitely recommend them. You know, the price is reasonable. If you find them on sale, and hopefully in a few months, that'd be fantastic. I'd grab a pair. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the review, guys. I apologize for my face and a lot of cutaways. Right now I just feel horrible, so if you have any questions about the shoe, you can leave them down below, but it's kind of more accessible over on Instagram, MA76bball on Instagram. You get a hold of me there, you can fire off some DMs and I'll answer your questions. So thank you very much for joining in. Appreciate you guys dropping by the channel. Quick shout out to Heretic Collection. And yeah guys, until the next one, take care and all the best to you. Alright? Peace.